Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kemi, and I'm here to talk about Beyond the Gates Season 2, Episode 116. Now, before we begin, make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notifications so you'll know whenever I post. All right, so we start the episode off with Anita and Vernon. They are at the hospital. Vernon is on the phone with Smitty. He's checking on Martin, telling him he needs to sit his behind down. And then once they get off the phone, Anita and Verna start talking about Kat and how she's doing better. We see Grayson. He approaches Ashley. He just wanted to lay eyes on her to make sure that she was okay. He goes to leave. She stops him and says they need to talk and to meet him at OG's. We see Tomas. He approaches Ted at the hospital and he wants to talk to him for a second. We see Chelsea with Kat, and they're talking about Leslie visiting her. Kat doesn't know and doesn't care if she was being real. She did this for Ted, and Anita sealed the deal for her. Giving up a piece of her body means she giving up a piece of her body. Giving up a piece of her body means that she won't lose herself being busy hating Eva, and she'll stop resenting her for having, and hopefully Eva will stop resenting her for having Ted all the years that she didn't. And then Chelsea says, and you can stop hating her for existing. And Kat shrugs. Chelsea says, you can't pretend this didn't change things. Y'all share a life debt now. And Kat says they will never be sisters. We see Naomi and Dani. They are at the club. They're talking about Kat and Eva, and Dani's saying, you know, she couldn't be, it couldn't be her. She wouldn't give Eva, I mean, she wouldn't give Hayley a toenail. She wouldn't give Hayley a toenail. Naomi says it's different. Y'all don't share a father. Dani says no, they share a husband. Naomi looks at her funny. Dani clarifies her words and says she and Bill are done. And Naomi says, is that it? Is that like, are you sure? We see Bill and Hayley at Uptown. He really didn't eat. And he hasn't been himself since the tornado. He has a flashback to the elevator. He makes a snark at Hayley, and she says, you think the tornado, I'm sorry, you think the tornado was about you? Sorry about that. So she's asking him, do you think the tornado was about you? Um, she says, we both went through it, but we weren't in the ballroom, so we didn't go through it the hardest. She wants to know why he's having a hard time with this. And it's like he's haunted. He plays it off and he says he's been worried about Kat and Martin. She says, so you're worried about Dani's family. And he tells her he held them as babies. He's always gonna think about them as family. Nothing cuts those ties, and it's nothing new. She tries to make it seem like she understands, but she doesn't like that he shuts her out of things. He says he'll do better. She's grateful that Andre wasn't hurt more than he was, because Dani would play the widow card and use it to get back in his arms. So we go back to Dani playing off, calling Bill her husband as a slip of the tongue. Naomi asks what gives with Bill and Dani. Dani says Andre is the only man in her head and her heart. They are happily divorced, and terms of endearment are old habits. And Naomi says, what about fantasizing? So we go back to Chelsea and Kat, and Chelsea is showing Kat some new designs for a bag. Kat loves it. Chelsea says she inspired her. Kat can't co-signed the hero story. Chelsea says it's her story, and Kat says in Eva's. Chelsea says either way, every woman is gonna want to be a hero and snatch the bag up. Kat doesn't want to monetize what happened with Eve, what happened between her and Eva, and says she'll find another angle to market it. Chelsea says it made she made it for her and she can't pretend the tornado didn't happen. Kat says that's it. We'll dedicate the bags to the first responders and donate the proceeds to the people who were affected by the tornado. Kat loves it. Limited edition bags celebrating real heroes. Kat says that's why they make the perfect team. Chelsea brings up Tomas. Kat praises him, and Kat and Chelsea ask, "Are they good?" So we go back to Ted and Tomas, and Tomas is asking Ted for Kat's hand in marriage. I really didn't write anything for them. I'm sorry, y'all. So we go back to Vernon and Anita. They're waiting on the doctor. He comes in and he gives them the news. We go back to Chelsea and Kat, and she wants to make sure that Tomas is there for Kat during her time of need. She asks her if Tomas is a partner she deserves, a life partner. Kat says nowhere near that. They're not. They're not at that stage yet. Kat says, "I thought you said he's the one." She says Kat says she did and she does, but this dance with near passing has shown her that she wants to be in the present, young and free. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we go back to Ted and Tomas, and Ted is telling Tomas that he and Kat haven't been together long. Tomas says it's been a year. And his grand would have his head if he didn't ask Ted, do the proper thing, having a proper sit down with Ted. And Ted says, so approaching me outside of Kat's hospital room is a move. Tomas gives him his spill on why he loves Kat, and Ted looks at him crazy. We go back to Dani and telling Naomi about how she's not fantasizing about Bill, and spills Nicole's tea and tells her to keep her mouth shut. She asks why did she think that Bill, that she was fantasizing about Bill, and she says no, Bill was fantasizing about you. She walked in on him, and Dani is just like, oh my God. And she'll just like, no, not like that, ill. And she explains what happened. Dani plays it off, and then Naomi gets a call. Ashley needs her. So Dani sends her on her way. So we go back to Bill and Hayley. He's playing off his connection with Dani, and says, why do you think I turned to you? Dani was fine with my extramarital activities as long as I wasn't being discreet. And I wrote in my note, this makes me look at Dani much worse, because why would you want to go back to that? Like, this man broke you down to your lowest, and you got a new man who brought you out of that, and you throw it all away for Bill, and then you keep running back to him and getting in his face. Like, girl, is you cool? Like, why would you? Why? Child. So Hayley is disgusted at how proud he is of that. He says Hayley brought him back to life. She plays up what she did for him and tells him what he wants to do, what she wants to do to him. She tells him she'll meet him at the office. He leaves and she rolls her eyes. So we go back to Chelsea and Kat, and she's apologizing for pressing her about Tomas. Kat says that's what sisters do. Chelsea says she wants what's best for her. She was really scared and she's important to her. She says some people give her a rep for being selfish and vapid. Kat says like Martin, and Chelsea says deep down he knows that she has a big heart and that she's always protecting. And now with what she did for Eva, it'll prove to all the haters and doubters. Chelsea says, from here on out, I'm going to make sure everyone treats you like the generous queen that you are. And then I wrote in my notes, and then proceeds to do the opposite, but whatever. So we go back to Ted and Tomas. Ted brings up Tomas turning Kat down, moving in with him. What changed? He says he thought Kat wanted to move in with him because of Chelsea and Madison. Ted says, and now do you think you're reacting to something? Are you asking for her hand because you want to spend the rest of your life with her? Or are you scared that you may lose her? So we see Ashley, she's with Naomi. And Ashley asks if she thinks Derek will forgive her for moving on with the man that is partially responsible for his passing. And Grayson is not partially responsible for anything. That is all on Derek's, and I'm gonna keep on saying it. Ain't nobody tell his big dumb behind to follow this man to wherever he was going because you was mad that girl moved on. That's on him. So we go back to Uptown. Randy is meeting Hayley. She's drinking because she has to have sex with Bill in his office, and she would much rather take him out with her bare hands. Then we go to Bill's in his office, and Dani comes in and says she wants to take him out with her bare hands. Um, we go back to Anita and Vernon. All the scans are clear. They can proceed with the lumpectomy. They ask what the next steps are. The doctor tells them, and she's ready to get back to her life. We see we see Tomas telling Ted he almost lost Kat twice, and how his love for her runs deeper than he thought. Ted asks, so no more detours like hooking up with Eva. Tomas says it was one he was at his lowest point. He shouldn't have crossed that line. Ted says he damn straight. But he can't cast stones, but he loves them, and he tells him that marriage can't sustain itself on heightened emotions, and that he needs to tell him that he will commit himself to Kat all the days of his life. His life, Ted says, yeah, yes, Kat will make Ted says Kat will make her own decision, and he won't stand in the way if this is what Kat wants. So we go back to Ashley and Naomi, and Naomi gives her advice and tells her she got this. So we're back with Hayley to complaining to Randy that about Bill being stuck on Dani and her having to sleep with him. She wants it to be done so she can get the money that they deserve. Randy tells her what she needs to do, and so she leaves. So we go back to Dani um talking to Bill, and he's flirting with her. She tells him this isn't a game. To her, she values her marriage. She tells him what Naomi told him. He says the kids want the mom and dad back together. She says they know better. He says, how can you be so sure? You didn't know you were going to be in my office today. That talk about lack of impulse control. And again, this is why I'm pissed that she slept with him, because this man is constantly playing in her face, making her look like a fool. He not only broke you down in your marriage, he's now also breaking you down in the relationship in your new marriage, and he has this over you, and you let it happen, and you keep going back to this man. So at this point, it is what it is, and you deserve everything that's about to happen. And I hope Andre cheats on you. It's that simple. Like, because you are Bill, you're now Bill, and you keep going to him, and he's loving it, and you're letting him do this to you again. And it's just like, why does this man have this hold on you after the way he disrespected you? Like, ain't no way I would go back to a man who did what he did. Like, not only did he cheat on you your entire marriage, or however long he cheated on you in your marriage, but he had his new woman in y'all's bed and then left you for her. Yeah, you deserve whatever ounce of embarrassment that's about to happen to you. And if it's at the hands of Bill, I hate that it's at the hands of Bill, but it's what you get. It really is what you get. So yeah, he tells her she wishes they were back in that elevator. She tells him there's no way in hell that she will let him blow up her life again. Girl, you are. Um we see child, I thought I had that picture. Sorry about that, y'all. All right, so we see Vernon and Anita. They run into Naomi at the club. They talk about Anita's appointment and her needing self care after the week that she's had with her parents. They need more attention. Anita says, "Thank goodness they have you, and that they aren't getting back together." Vernon wants them all to, have coffee or whatever. So we go back to Chelsea and Kat, and they're talking about the Tokyo meeting. And Kat says that Chelsea ain't going without her. Chelsea says you can't be healing, and you're not only healing, you're regenerating, and the doctor won't clear you to leave the country. Ted comes in and says she's right, and as of this moment, you're grounded. We see Grayson and Ashley. They meet, and they talk about whatever it is. They said they'll start over, and they're going to start slow, and then they kiss. So we go back to Bill making Dani look like a fool. He will help her blow up her marriage so she won't do it herself. She says she loves Andre and he can't talk to her like that anymore. He says, like, you belong to me. She goes to slap him, but he stops her, and then Hayley walks in. So Kat is complaining about not being able to go to Tokyo. Ted is telling her there'll be other meetings, but there's only one Kat. He has to go check on Eva. She's getting better thanks to her sister. Kat realizes she can't go to Puerto Rico with Thomas and is sad about it. Chelsea tells her she can go another time, and there is something great waiting for her. So we go back to Vernon, Anita, and Naomi, and they're talking about almost missing the appointment, and Anita hoping Dani never has to go through what she went through and is happy that the grandkids tested negative. Naomi has this look on her face. She sees Tomas and calls him over. He tells him he's throwing a surprise welcome home party for Kat. Anita says that Kat may not be up to it. He says he'll keep it low key. Kat says, okay, you have my blessings, but if you can have it at the house, he says, okay. So we see Hayley and Bill. No, Hayley says, what's going on? Dani says nothing, and then lets Hayley know that there's oh yeah, she says nothing's going on. And then Dani tells her, been there, done that. Nothing ever tops the original, because she's just like, oh, you're here in the trench coat. Oh, it's the same designer. Like, I've been there, done that. We've done all of this. You ain't never gonna top the original. And Dani walks out, and then Hayley is pissed. So that was the episode. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notifications so you'll know whenever I post. Get down in the comments. Tell me what you guys thought about this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one.